Mark, what have you been able to learn about Providence in the last couple of days? And that's, I guess, what kind of matchup do you see that being against them?
Well, I think, I haven't seen a ton yet, just exchanging videos not too long ago. So next couple of days, we'll get an opportunity to dive in to, see what their strengths are and some of the prep work that we need to do in the next few days here. So as you well know, I mean, when you get down to 8 teams, everybody's had a good season. Everybody's coming into this event very comfortable and confident. And so, similar to what we see and have seen in our schedule throughout this season is, they'll be well structured, they'll be well coached, and, they'll play a real disciplined game. And so it's going to be, more on what we want to do and what we're capable of doing, how we, manage our emotions and, come out, similar to what we've done most of the years. It's come out and do some of the things that make us successful.
This has to be one of the more unusual NCAA tournament trips for you, given that you go a little early. Obviously, you have to quarantine. You have to do all these other sorts of things that keep you off the ice for a couple of days. Then you get to practice at a different place. You get a morning skate at the game rink, and off you go. How do you manage that?
Well, we're putting the schedule together now. I mean, for us, the first step is to figure out how we're getting there, and that's not solidified yet. So, it's about managing practices, managing your emotional level, getting everybody physically, fit and comfortable with where we're at as a group. With an afternoon game on Tuesday, our general routine is that, we don't skate in the morning because it just adds a different layer to your prep work. If you're a player, with not much time in between that skate and your game, pregame meal. This year, obviously, we're going to have to get tested that morning. So the first time we'll probably see the ice is when we jump out for warm-ups for the game. So that's a little unique and different, but that's the way it's been all year, Todd. When we got to Minneapolis, last weekend, we get a message Thursday night. We didn't know if we were going to play the game Saturday. Minnesota was having some things going on within their group, and we didn't know if we were going to play or not. We didn't realize that, and then finally found out, Saturday morning at 10 o'clock that the game was going to be on. So the players have dealt with it. The coaches have dealt with it all year. Obviously having an 8 tournament in one city is challenging for the host group that's putting the tournament on with practice times and things like that. In a normal year would be getting ready to play a quarterfinal game at LeBron and, in front of a full house. And, that's a little bit of an advantage to us because we're used to that. We enjoy it. We thrive off it. But this was, the itinerary set, the brackets are set. Similar to our regular season, who can manage the next 10 or 12 days the best, we'll probably get into those championship games the following Saturday.
Mark, if you don't mind, I know you're looking forward, but you talked about the fans and LeBron being packed for your games for so long now. You realize the passion that these fans have for your program, not to have them there this year, what home or road. I mean, can you put into words how much you and your players have missed not having them around?
Well, I think everybody's missed it, especially the players, just the experience they get playing in front of a full house and the energy that it brings to our, bench in our locker room and the excitement that, the players get playing in front of them. You just miss that. And so, I was reading an article this morning in the NHL, and they're talking about the different experiences that the players have had this year, dealing with COVID, dealing with not playing in front of fans. And it's the same thing. So whatever sport we're talking about, those teams that play at home in front of, really, really good fans, knowledgeable, energetic, you really miss that. And, it was no different this past weekend. Usually our conference tournaments, we have a good crowd and it's fun to play in front of. It's fun to, play in front of the excitement. So, you know, not having a quarterfinal game at home, you know, I would certainly like it the other way around and have, you know, team come in here and play in front of 2,500 fans that create an atmosphere that is very rarely seen in women's hockey. And we're fortunate that we have it on a game basis. And, you know, I think this year you really get an appreciation of what we're so fortunate to have. And, you know, you thank the fans that are willing to come out and support our team. And, you know, a shout out to them that we miss them. Our players miss them. Our coaching staff misses them. Our league misses them. The visiting team misses them. It's just a fun atmosphere to experience as a women's hockey player, getting a chance to play in front of our crowd.
A little bit along those lines, we're coming up on a year since those heartbreaking days of first, you know, there wasn't going to be a crowd.
Don't jinx us. We're not quite there yet.
Okay, I know. I would knock on whatever you want to knock on here, but
yeah.
What's your first memory of those days? And do you think your players that were a part of that have an appreciation for what they're getting this year? I mean, for everything they've had this year because of missing out on that last season?
Yeah, no, I remember the Thursday getting the phone call that, you know, the NCAA had made their decision and our game was going to be off. And, you know, the elevator ride down and the short walk into the locker room, knowing I was going to face my team. And the news that I had was not going to be good. It was a very dark day. You know, very disappointed that they weren't going to get an opportunity to continue to play. And, you know, 2 days from the game and then, you know, 12 days from the end of our NCAA tournament and everything's, you know, ripped away from you. And so it was a tough day. And, you know, obviously everybody was shedding tears because we weren't going to get a chance to play that quarterfinal game at home. And I would think those players that were in the locker room a year ago probably appreciate, you know, this week more than, you know, maybe some of our younger players that weren't part of the group last year. I know the coaching staff does, our athletic staff and Sis, our equipment ops person. I mean, we appreciate it because, you know, the whole season and since a year ago, we live on a daily basis. What's going to happen today and can we get through today and what's going to happen tomorrow? And so, you know, knock on wood that the next 5 or 6 days are successful in our testing and our protocol. We get into the weekend down at Erie and things are safe and we get to actually drop the puck next Tuesday and get a chance to play because you spend a lot of time this past year in an unconventional way and you want to get to the finish line. And hopefully we're in that position. People have learned and understand the process here and now it's just continue to what we do and take one day at a time.
Mark, obviously every path at this point looks tough on paper, but what did it look like from a difference as far as 1 seed, 2 seed? I mean, what do you think of the path that is in front of you? How much maybe did it change things?
I mean, I thought after our game against Ohio State, and you know, you look at who we played and where we played them and some of the wins that we had over the course of our season, they had a pretty tough schedule against you know, some real good teams. And, you know, we got to the finish line ahead of everybody in our league and won our playoffs. And, you know, I thought we had a chance to be the #1 seed. I didn't look at the brackets or didn't get involved in them until Monday morning when I woke up. I was tired after the weekend and wanted to make sure I got a good night's sleep Sunday before I got involved in where we were at and who we were going to play. I've been on the committee before. I've seen some good brackets. I've seen some horrible brackets. I've seen it all different ways. And I didn't want to go to bed Sunday night with, you know, a bad flavor in my mouth. So I waited till Monday to see it. And then, you know, this year being what it is, it's like, okay, it was exciting that we're going to play someone outside our league. That was one of my first steps. I've seen enough of our league and had to play against our league long enough here in a challenging year. And it was like, okay, let's play some other people and see, you know, what we're capable of doing. So when I saw the brackets, you know, it is what it is. You know, if I was picking, it would look probably a little bit different. But it is what it is. And look for the opportunity in our next game, which is next Tuesday at 2 against Providence.
And I'm curious, you've obviously had national championship teams before. Is there a unifying trait that you've noticed at about this time of year, something about the group where you can just kind of maybe see something that that team has that can give them success at this time of year? Do you see it with this group?
Well, I think the one thing that to me has been somewhat common, whether I was playing or was, whatever I've been coaching here, and is that the willingness for everybody as a group, really to put both feet into the boat and play for your teammates and get an understanding of whether I play a lot or I don't play a lot, or I dress or I don't dress. Whatever my role is on the team, I'm going to do it at 100%. And it's easy to talk about. It's more challenging to go through. And that's one of the things I think we missed out, and probably other teams missed out this year with a short schedule, is it probably takes more than 15 or 18 games to really develop that. It takes a full season, where parts of your season there might be some things going on with adversity and challenges you have to do as players individually or as coaches. And it gives you a little bit more time to navigate through the weeds and really get people to understand that if they're going to be successful at the end, here's are some of the steps that you have to go through. And it's a process of developing team chemistry. It's a process of developing unity amongst each other. And the biggest part of it is getting an opportunity to trust your teammates. And so the more situations that you're in as a group and as a team, the more experiences that you gain, and the more trust that you can start to develop and build. But the common theme is, at the end, everybody's got to be playing as a team. And, it's not a time to be an individual. It's not a time to worry about yourself. It's what can I do to make the team better? What can I do to make my teammates better? And if everybody's willing to do that, the sky's the limit. It doesn't guarantee anything at the end, but it puts you in a position to maybe have a special ending.
From having seen Daryl play for the last couple of years in person and right in front of you, is there a time that you see from her that she is most comfortable and most effective as a player, or are there situations where or specific kinds of games where she does the best?
I don't know if that is answerable, because there'll be games where early on she might get a good look or maybe score a goal or set up a play, and usually if a player does that earlier in the game, they feed off that, and then they're going to have another 40 or 45 minutes of real good games, and then other nights I might not get a chance till the middle of the third period, and then I bury it, and then I play 10 minutes of unbelievable hockey. And so our Ohio State game, a very tight checking game. Both teams weren't giving very much, and then all of a sudden, boom! Lacey makes a nice pass and gets it on Daryl's stick, and it's in the back of the net, and then move on, and then she scores a highlight type goal. Cross ice pass, and uses an extra gear to go around the defenseman, and then makes a move on the goaltender. And the one thing about her, she's been pretty consistent in a lot of games in getting anywhere from 3 to 6 or 10 pretty good scoring chances. And sometimes when we have conversations, she gets a little frustrated. I said, hey, sometimes the goalie's pretty good. You might get your 6 quality opportunities, and she stops all 6 of them. And the next night you might get 3 great chances and 2 of them go in. So which game was better? I don't know. But with those type of kids, and I see it on the men's side too. You get a Cole Caulfield, a couple of these guys that are real good with a puck. And at the end of the night, they have no goals and 1 assist, and yet they had a real good game because the goalie made 4 unbelievable saves on the 4 quality chances that I have. And so don't get frustrated. The only time you get frustrated, and we can talk and look at videos, when you're not getting those chances. And if these players are getting consistent chances, and one thing about Daryl is she generally, I don't remember many games that she's been with us where I can look back in that 60 minutes, she didn't have at least 2, maybe 3 real good chances to score.
How rare is that for a player? And what is that the level that she is on? Does that kind of speak to where she's separated herself, that she has always gotten those opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, at some point in the game where, she's going to feel like I need to go out in the next shift and make something happen. And, those are what the good players do. And, I see it on the men's side with Caulfield. I mean, at some point in the game, whether he's been closely checked, that you got to understand when they're on the road and Daryl's on the road, they're playing against the other team's best defenseman the whole game. And so it might take half a game to navigate and figure out how I'm going to get my chance or, how I'm going to get my opportunity. But at some point, they instantly can change the game. It might be a, power play goal against Michigan State, bar down from the short side the other night with Caulfield, or it might be a, walk around the defenseman, put a deke on the goalie like Daryl did against Ohio State. And, that's what she does. And, she's done it for a long time, and we've had it for a couple of years now. And like I mentioned, there aren't many games that she goes quiet in for the whole game.